Hey CD11, it's Friday, so that means that we are here at City Hall with your weekly budget update. And this week, I am super excited to be sitting down with Recreation and Parks General Manager Jimmy Kim. Jimmy, thank you so much for being with us today. Not surprisingly, when we asked our constituents on the west side what city departments were most important to them, Rec and Parks was top of mind. So I wanted to have an opportunity to introduce you personally to our constituents today and have you tell us maybe first just a little bit about your long career here at the city.
Well, Councilman Parks, thank you so much for having me here. It's just an honor to be here to represent the Department of Recreation and Parks. Just to give you a little background about myself, I've been with the department now 27 years. I started in the department back in 1995 as a junior lifeguard. And way back when, there was a program called the Summer Youth Employment Training Program. And I was able to apply and become a junior lifeguard, and it's really changed my life. That was my first job, and literally it's given me opportunities throughout my career to be here as the general manager. Throughout my career, I've worked in different parts of the city. Specifically in CD11, my background is an aquatic background. So I was a lifeguard, I was a full-time aquatic facility manager, and I had the privilege of overseeing Westchester Swimming Pool. And so I know Westchester Park very well, and so and I know that that's just a gem in the community. We recently did, in the last 15 years, some upgrades to that facility, winterized it a little bit, and then so, that was my career in terms of aquatics. As an emergency manager in my career, during local emergencies, we're able to utilize Westchester Rec Center to support local fires and just supporting the city when the need comes and the ask comes from the city family to support in mass care and sheltering.
Wow. Well, I know you've worn a lot of hats and you bring a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge to this position. But for our constituents who may not fully know or understand the full scope of what Rec and Parks does and the programming that it oversees, maybe you could give us sort of the executive level view of all of the different things and parks that the department runs.
Sure. So the department, we're stewards over 14,000 acres of parkland. We have 444 parks, 120 rec centers. We have 52 swimming pools, 12 golf courses, and we have these open spaces, community spaces that are not traditionally recreation and parks type amenities, right? We oversee the Griffith Observatory, the Greek Theater, Pershing Square, Cabrillo Marine Aquarium, and of course in CD11, Venice Beach and the boardwalk. Venice Beach is one of the gems of the city. It is our #1 tourist destination. So there's a lot of times that I visit that location just because of how important it is to the department.
Well, it means a lot to me to hear you say that. And you and I have had a lot of conversations
Yes,
about how important Oceanfront Walk and the recreation facilities are there. And I really appreciate your ongoing partnership and your continued assistance and collaboration to ensure that we keep that asset safe and accessible and in good working order. You mentioned Westchester Park and some work that has been done there over years. My team and I have moved forward with improvements there. But at a lot of parks, not just on the west side, but across our entire city, we see deferred maintenance and opportunities to improve the amenities are there. So as we head into a budget cycle where we know we're going to have fewer resources than we've had in prior years, how do we allocate the finite dollars that we have to ensure that all of our parks get the love and care they need?
So, one of the strategies that, I think we would like to implement as a department is have really community members reach out to the department so that we understand what they're looking for. One of the ways that a community member can provide their input is through our Park Advisory Board. Every single one of our parks that has a rec center has a Park Advisory Board, and so we encourage constituents to participate in that process. Another method is come visiting us on our board meetings. Board meetings are held twice a month in different areas of the city. So we encourage constituents to come out and speak their voice of what their needs are. And then another method is through email. We do have a email address that's rap.commissioners@lacity.org, where constituents can provide, whether it's a complaint, whether it's a comment, whether it's a need, that comes directed to the commission office, and then that gets directed to me, and we address any of those types of issues that are there. Another thing that we're going to be doing as we kind of look into the future is implementing surveys. A lot of times when you come to our parks, it's very difficult to communicate with management. They speak to staff, and that's wonderful. We want them to do that, but we also want to give them different ways to communicate with us. So we'll be providing through our website, laparks.org, for each park. We're going to have a link where a constituent can comment and provide us input on what's happening in their park and what they're looking for in their community parks.
Well, we really appreciate you helping to create those opportunities for our constituents to engage. Our parks and shared public spaces are some of our most important resources and assets, and I know that my constituents in CD11 really appreciate the opportunity to communicate their thoughts and feedback. So we'll be sure to share that contact information and meeting schedules in our communications with them as well. As we head into our next budget and fiscal year, what are some of the top priorities that you have for the department?
Well, I think every year, we want to make sure that we're maintaining a level of service in terms of programming. We are Recreation and Parks, so we provide not only sports programming, but also programming that helps with childcare type issues. So we have summer camps, we have art classes, all these types of programming. So we want to make sure and advocate to maintain the level of service that Angelenos are so used to. And another piece that we're really very high on our priority is maintenance. I very firmly believe that when you come to a park, the visual of the park as well as the maintenance of restrooms is an important piece. I am myself a user of the parks. My kids are in the programs, and very often, throughout my career, when we go to restrooms, when we go to parks to use the restroom, I wonder, if I have an issue with my children using the restroom, how about everybody else? So we're working on ways to make sure that we maintain that level of service that we have now, but also looking at ways to kind of think creatively to make sure that these restrooms that our constituents use are clean, so that they want to stay in the parks and really leverage the resources that are at our facilities. So my top two is making sure that we keep our level of programming in terms of services that we provide, as well as the maintenance of our parks and our restrooms.
Well, through our partnership with the city's Olympics Committee, we're really excited about the summer youth sports programming. And I'll just make a quick plug for our senior centers too. You do some tremendous work there with meals and other activities for our seniors, and Westchester Park is a perfect example of where those programmings really are essential. Interesting that you mentioned the restrooms, because you and I have talked a lot about the restrooms out at Venice Beach, and you know that you have my commitment as we head into this budget season to make sure that you're going to have the tools and the resources and the funding that's going to be necessary to help us solve what have been some long-standing problems out there. But I know that when we work together and we fight for what's important, we're going to be able to deliver for our constituents in CD11. So thank you for being here, and CD11, have a great weekend, and we'll be back next weekend with another budget update.